So then he says to Nicodemus, I love it, he says, let me get this straight. You're the teacher of Israel, and you don't understand what I'm saying? See that? This is where we got to zero in on Jesus Christ. See how edgy he is? He's serious. So he goes, I'm going to try again. He says a crazy verse that most people gloss over. They don't pay attention to. He says, verse 11, most assuredly I say to you, we speak what we know and testify what we have seen, and you don't receive our witness. Who's he talking about? What are you thinking? Absolutely. Absolutely. You go back to Genesis chapter 1. Let us make man in our image. You go to Abraham, and these guys show up to talk. Should I tell Abraham what we're going to do with Sodom and Gomorrah? I mean, you see it throughout the Bible. And Jesus is saying to him, we speak these things, we share them with you, but you do not receive our witness. He's speaking to Nicodemus. You don't receive what we're telling you. This is harsh, guys. This is Christ. And then, verse 12, if I told you earthly things and you don't believe those, how are you ever going to believe when I tell you heavenly things? We're the same way in church. If you don't study Jesus Christ and get to understand him, you're going to hear things like avoid pornography, watch who you date, be good, don't lie, all earthly stuff about things I should do, but you don't understand the deeper heavenly things. Those things about not doing have nothing to do with being a Christian. That'd be horrible. If I have a checklist of things that I'm not supposed to do. Gosh, imagine raising a kid in your house and every day they come in, you have on the refrigerator the 10 major things they got to follow. Buddy, you got 7 right. You got a 70 today. I got about a C minus. We got to get you to an A. It doesn't work that way. He says here, then he hits you with verse 13. No one has ascended to heaven, but he who came down from heaven, that is the Son of Man who is in heaven. It's like if I was Nicodemus, I'm like, would you stop it? I'm just lost here. He's doing what you just said. He's showing how he is equal to the Father and how he subjected himself to lower himself, and yet he's still God in heaven. All right, so he's going through all this. Nicodemus is like, okay, I'm an idiot. I'm the teacher in the synagogue. I'm preparing my lesson for this Sunday or Saturday. And I've got the rabbi who I think so highly of who's telling me I better not preach anymore because I don't know what I'm talking about. That's basically what's happening. So then he talks about the Moses and the serpent in the wilderness. You know why he did that? Why does he tell that, you think? What's the purpose of putting that in there? This is why I love Jesus Christ so much. It's in there for Nicodemus. The context is he's talking to Nicodemus. Nicodemus knows this story. He's helping Nicodemus to get there. Nicodemus doesn't get the wind thing. He doesn't get the ascending up and down. He doesn't get born again. So he goes, okay, you teach this in the synagogue. That's me, Nicodemus. You see, when you read the Bible, think of it that way. Put yourself in the place of Nicodemus. Jesus Christ is talking to you. This is how he communicates. So 2,000 years ago, he has this pastor, priest, who's lost. Lost. And he's going, okay, let me show you something you'll understand. When the Israelites were murmuring in the wilderness because they came out of Egypt and now food's not everywhere, there's not water plentiful, they're sitting there, and what did they want to do? Do you remember? What did they want to do? Interesting. We got to think about this a minute. The Egyptians, if you study the Egyptians at all, the Jews were property. They were property. So they would literally If you've never seen Ben-Hur, I recommend you watch it because there's stuff in there that's very accurate. When there's a scene in there where an Israelite is helping, they're moving a stone in place. And the Israelite gets their garment caught under the stone, screaming for help because the next stone's coming. They leave the Israelite to be crushed because it's just an Israelite, no value. Okay? So that's what the Jews were saying to God. You know, it was better back there. I think I'd rather go back there because at least we had food and water. Like, what are you, insane? Are you serious? Guess what's happening in America? People, freedom kind of sucks. Freedom's difficult. You know why freedom is so hard? Because now you're responsible. You're free, but you got to go to school and get a degree. You're free, but you got to get a job. As slaves in Egypt, they would feed you and water you and everything, but you're a slave. So in America, guess what's happening now? People aren't interested in being free. People are interested in being taken care of. People want to be taken care of.